Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. And today we're going to be talking about Puccini's Turandot. Yeah. And what other performance can we be recommending? I mean, why keep you in suspense than this one? That is Pavarotti and Sutherland and Caballé. Or should I say Sutherland and Caballé and Pavarotti? Or should I say Caballé, Sutherland and Pavarotti? I mean, you're not going to find a better cast. It's that simple. The only real competition to this one comes with Birgit Nilsson and Jussi Björling. And Renato Tebaldi, I think, is in there too. I mean, that's one hell of a cast as well. But it's recorded in, somewhat, iffy 1960 sound with the RCA Italiana Opera Orchestra, which was kind of screechy. Leinsdorf is the conductor. Here we have Zubin Mehta, who was really a wonderful, sympathetic Puccini conductor and a terrific accompanist. And you've got the London Phil, and you've got gorgeous Decca sound, and you have wonderful luxury casting in the teeny-weeny roles, like Timur is Nikolai Gyarov. Timur is the father of Kalof. Kalof is Pavarotti, and that guy's. And then you've got a great Ping Pang and Pong, Tom Krause, Pier Francisco Poli, and Piero de Palma. And we have the amazing Sir Peter Pears as the Emperor Altum. And I have to tell you an insider's story about that bit of casting that is just hilarious. And I got it straight from Decca itself, a Decca executive who was around when they did this actual recording. And this is what he told me. They were very happy to get Peter Pears because Peter Pears doesn't do much Italian opera. But there was an insider angle to it, and that's this. The Emperor Altum is designated in the score to sing with a voice of extreme age and decrepitude. In fact, decrepitude is Puccini's word for it. And the reason they wanted Peter Pears is because the decrepitude was built right in there, because the English tenor sound, that reedy, sort of nasal, strangulated tenor sound, was the way Peter Pears always sang. Now, of course, he could sing very beautifully, and he was a major artist and whatnot, etc. and whatnot. I'm not disputing that, but he had a very particular timbre. And that timbre was the antithesis of what an Italian tenor is supposed to sound like. And so when they got Peter Pears, he told me, they knew that the British critics would go crazy over the fact that Peter Pears was making his appearance in an Italian opera like this, in a special guest role. And he didn't have to act at all, because his voice was naturally as decrepit as Puccini intended. And it is. I mean, he sings there, Angeramento atroce mi costringe. Right? I mean, that's what you get with Peter Pears. It was very, very funny. But everyone else sounds really Italian, which is the point. And wow, is this a performance. It just blows away the competition. And, there's nothing else to say, really, is there? You have to have this Turandot. I will say one thing, though, about Sutherland that we really need to talk about. Caballé did Turandot too with Alan Lombard on EMI, and she was not a Turandot. She really wasn't. Birgit Nilsson did Turandot twice. She was a Turandot. Oh boy, was she a Turandot. But so was Sutherland. Sutherland, of course, had the reputation for as a bel canto specialist, someone who could sing, endless amounts of fioritura, roulades, and ornamentation and whatnot, and she could. But she had a huge voice. A really big voice. In fact, it didn't record terribly well. Her records really don't do her justice because she could fill a room. I saw her do Gilda and Rigoletto at the Met, and it was unbelievable the way she rode the climaxes over the orchestra and everybody else on stage, for that matter. She was extraordinary. Her voice was absolutely amazing. And in this Turandot, not only is she not in any way overparted by the role, she sings it beautifully, but she enunciates it beautifully. You can understand the words, even at full volume when she's doing In Questa Regia. She really milks it. She's got the goods for Turandot. And so it's a wonderful role for her because I think, you hear the same thing, actually, in her Massenet and Esclarmonde and a few other things that she did that need a heavier kind of voice. And my goodness, is she wonderful. Everyone talks about this because of Pavarotti, because he sings Nessun Dorma, at the beginning of Act 3, the three tenor aria. But the real star is Sutherland. Really, really, she is. And Caballé is wonderful, and everyone else is great, and the sound is great, and the conducting is great, and it's just great. So enough said. Get this Turandot if you don't have it already, and if you care about Puccini, I can't imagine that you don't have it already. But for those of you who don't know the work or who don't know Puccini, it's his last opera. It was incomplete when he died. It was completed by Franco Alfano for the last, 10, 12, 15 minutes or so. The completion is absolutely dreadful. You can tell immediately that it's not Puccini, and you know exactly what happens because there's a pause before it starts. That's, it's in the score. I mean, it's not like they pause for some other reason. There's a pause, and then it starts up again. And the first time I heard it and it started up again, I just sat bolt upright like this and went, whoa, that's not Puccini. So the ending is stupid. The real, the ending, of course, is that Koloff and Turandot, make up and make nice. And, China is happy because they're going to get married and all that stuff. When the real ending ought to be that either the crowd falls on Turandot and kills her because she deserves it, or Ping Pang and Pong walk up to her and say, Principessa, we quit. See ya. And they go home. That's supposed to be the ending. I mean, I would have done it that way, but I wasn't the librettist. Unfortunately, they stuck with the libretto that Puccini wanted to set. They should have changed it. They really should have changed it. But that's not my call anymore. If anyone asks me to rewrite the ending of Turandot, I'm here. Come and get me. In the meantime, I'm listening to this. Keep on listening, friends. Thank you for joining me. Take care.